Hello everyone. The World Chess Championship would start in 2 days' time. The question of its legitimacy has been asked. Is it legitimate championship? This video, I think we're just trying to speak about that and see what we think about that. So who says what? Magnus Carlsen, the previous world champion, who gave up his title in 2023, stating that traditional championship format no longer motivated him. His dissatisfaction stems from long time controls and intense mental preparation for the competition. He has since redirected his focus to rapid and online games. So Garry Kasparov, the other GOAT, also a world champion, he said that he doesn't consider this as a world champion because it is between two players who is number 5 and number 15. Actually, it's 22 ranking at the moment. That's Liren. Ranking is currently 22 in the world. So he's considering that the world championship ended with Magnus Carlsen giving away his title. Let's have a look, see what he says.
But frankly speaking, no offense meant, I wouldn't pay much attention. I think the history of the world championship match, world champions ended with Magnus Carlsen. You can't pretend that the match between number whatever, what is Gukesh? 5, 6, I don't know, just and somebody number 15, basically two players that, just too very far away from number 1, number 2, it can be classified as a world championship match.
Now, a bit of background on Garry Kasparov. Garry Kasparov had a problem with FIDE, actually. Had few issues with him in the past. In 1986, he created the Grandmasters Association to represent the professional players and have more say in the FIDE's activities. In 1993, he split from the organization, forming the Professional Chess Association. So that was the World Championship title the World Championship match between Garry Kasparov and Nigel Short, where they were then kicked out of FIDE and the FIDE started their own championship. So this move obviously was quite important because it split the two organizations and we had two world championships or two world champions rather, for a period of 13 years. In 2006, however, Garry Kasparov rejoined the FIDE organization and it was a unification of the world chess and the championship unified following that. So in 2007, he said that the breaking from FIDE was his worst mistake in his career and it hurt the game in long term. So if you go to Wikipedia page on this, you can read the details of what exactly happened, who was playing where when the organization split, and what happened. So there's a lot of details available online on this issue, which I'm not going to go through these at the moment. Just wanted to highlight that Garry Kasparov had a few issues with FIDE before, so now he's raising this question about the World Championship. Yeah, he has had this background. So this is not a unique thing for chess. In other sports like boxing, we've had some cases where the world champion has been disqualified or stripped off his title. In 1967, Muhammad Ali, which was the world champion, his title was taken off him because he refused to join the US military during the Vietnam War. So during his exile, Joe Frazier and George Foreman and others competed to win the world championship for heavyweight division. But many fans questions the legitimacy of this championship without Muhammad Ali. Obviously, Muhammad Ali returned to the competition in 1970 and had fights with Fraser and George Foreman, and he managed to get his title back. So you've had in tennis, in 1973, about 80 players boycotted Wimbledon, and that was due to a dispute involving suspension of a Yugoslav player called Nikola Pilic. And there's a lot of people who consider the achievements in that competition not as good because of the level of the competition. So in football, we've had in 1930, a lot of the European teams did not travel to Uruguay due to cost and logistical issues. And in this competition, Uruguay managed to win the World Cup. However, a lot of people again consider that competition not so much legitimate due to the strength of the competition, and not many strong players from Europe were not present. So it's not unique. I mean, in other sports, these things happen when the world champion departs, retires, or whatever. There's a void and things happen. However, in chess, there is a process for world championship selection. So we've got the world champion, and you've got the candidates who are selected in various formats or different ways, and they qualify for this, and then they compete, and the winner of the candidates tournament goes on to challenge the world champion, and if he wins, he will become the new world champion. So all top players in this case, except Carlsen, took part in different competitions, just trying to qualify for the candidates tournament. You might remember where Alireza Firuzja tried to qualify for this, and he went through a long process of setting up some competition and attending some very low standard competitions, trying to improve his rating for his qualification. So there are processes in place that you qualify for these candidates, and then you participate in the candidates tournament, and if you win, you go and challenge the world champion. So in this 2 years since the previous world championship, Liren has dropped from 3rd in the world ranking to 22nd. So that has been due to his health probably, and also lack of competition, which he disappeared from the competition scenes for a while, and when he came back, he wasn't the same Ding that we had seen before. So a lot of people have questioned that, and they were expecting him to withdraw from this competition and let somebody else play, because they were saying his form is not good and he will just give up his title and let somebody else play. But that hasn't happened. So Ding is playing in this competition, and I think he has got a good chance of winning. You might want to see the previous video that I've made on my prediction for the competition. So while this competition is now between Liren and Gukesh, who is currently number 5, and Liren is number 22 in the world ranking, this does not discredit the championship. It shows that in the current format, anybody can qualify for this and challenge the champion. I mean, if the champion has lost some rating, has gone down, his form has not been as good as has been in the past, it doesn't disqualify him. So now, I think what Garry is saying, that the top 2 or 5 players are not in the championship, that's a bit pointless, because that's not the way the competitions work. If it was supposed to be between the top rated players, then the format would be different. Then we'll pick the top 6 rated player or the top 8 rated player and let them play for the candidates, well, obviously except the world champion, and then go and challenge the world champion. If that was how it was supposed to happen. But that's not the case, and the format is different, and anybody can qualify. You remember in the candidates tournament, Nijat Abbasov, who was relatively low-rated player comparing to others, he managed to qualify for it through the World Cup competition, and his rating was much lower, but he had a chance, which is, I think it's good. I mean, everybody has got a chance to attend that and challenge the world champion. We also need to mention that Gukesh has improved quite significantly in the past year or so. So it doesn't mean that if he continues the same way, he will not be the world number 1 or number 2 or number 3 or whatever. So he would be a top contender in the future years. So in summary, I think the World Championship is legitimate, and therefore the World Championship in 2024 between Liren and Gukesh Dommaraju is approved as legitimate.